Hi there VC, Steve Whitty here. It's time for another video, and as promised in my pre-holiday finds, I'd be showing October finds video. So I'm going to show 15 records that I purchased in October after I come back off holiday. It's not all I purchased, but I'll show you the best 15. And so without further ado, the first one I'm going to show you is Curried Jazz. This came out on the Music for Pleasure label in 1969, and it basically is the brainchild of Victor Graham. And it's, as it says, it's a jazz album, jazz recordings with hints of India. So sitar's on here, and tambura's on here as well. What else is tabla as well? So it's jazz, but it has Indian backing. I come across this. Pete, whenever this record was in the shop, was always going on to how great a record it is, and it will always go. And then it's literally the weekend after I come back off holiday, I saw it in there. I thought, you know what, I'll take a punt on this, and I'm glad I did. This is an enjoyable record. If you haven't seen it, it's well worth across it. I would say it's well worth taking a punt on. If you like jazz, I think this will appeal to you. Next up, you can get away with showing this, Average White Band, and this is their album Warmer Communications. That came out in 1978 on the Atlantic label. Band from Scotland, obviously best known for Pick Up the Pieces, which was an American #1. And this sort of continues in that vein, lower numbers. It's just borders on the right side of not becoming disco. It's still a sort of funk element to their sound, but as I said, it doesn't stray into disco, this album, where I think they had a big hit in 1980 with Let's Go Round Again, which does stray into disco, in my opinion, anyhow. But again, well worth having. That's my third Average White Band album I got in my collection. Next up, Chris Weir, Dancing with Strangers. Now, this came out in 1987 on the Magnet label. Around this point, Chris Weir was about to hit his peak commercially. He's got the hit single Let's Dance on here. I was watching another video just a couple of days ago, and they were showing The Road to Hell, and there's that guitar element that sounds a bit Knopflerish, but he's a big exponent, Weir, of the slide guitar. And then you've got his sort of vocals, his gravelly vocals as well, which sort of adds to his appeal. And during the 80s, you can see why it was. He originally had a hit with Who Do You Think It's Over, which I think was a hit in America. And it took him a while to get over that, and he slowly built up. This is a really good album. So the best known tracks are Let's Dance, the single. Loving You Again was another minor hit single. And then as we're coming up to Christmas, we've got Joys at Christmas, which is the opening track of the album. So yeah, I think a great album. Yeah, I think it's up there with Road to Hell. I'll go with that. Now, I've took advantage. This shop gets a bit knocking. This is HMV. The records are a bit pricey, and yeah, it's not just a record shop. It's an entertainment shop. It deals a lot with pop art. You get your DVDs and Blu-rays as well. But I think what they do well is the 3 for £66 offer, so that they're £22 each. So I've taken advantage to fill some gaps of albums I listened to, particularly in the late 80s, 90s, just to fill a gap and have it on vinyl. And the first one of this is Pulp's Different Class. This came out 30 years ago, 1995. God, my sums have gone wrong. And this is just a classic album of that period. Jarvis Cocker was just nailed it on the group nailed it on the head with this record. And you know, if you hear more sort of like Different Class 30 years on, older and white, nonetheless wiser. Common People is the standout song. It's sort of was the standout song for the whole of that era, I think, for 1995. They appeared at Glastonbury that year. They stood in for headlining for the Stone Roses, R.I.P. Manny, and stole the show for that year on the festival. This isn't the 30 years reissue. This is a, I think it came out 2016 reissue. So happy to add that to the collection. Around the same period, we had Radiohead, The Bends, my favourite Radiohead album. So you've got the title track High and Dry was the lead single, Fake Plastic Trees, the Attack on Consumerism, My Iron Lung, Just, and then probably my favourite track on the album, last track, Street Spirit, Fade Out. A band on the rise at that point and sort of peaked with OK Computer. It's close what I think is my favourite, but I do believe that The Bends just edges it. Another album I wanted to just complete on vinyl. This is REM, Automatic for the People. Again, it's a 2017 reissue, not the one, I think, from 2021. Whenever I listen to this record, I think of my mate Dave, Scotty Dave. We were talking, when this came out in 1992, we were in the pub, and we were talking about this album coming out and thinking, well, we'll get one of us get it and we'll have a listen and see what we think. Unfortunately, Dave died in a car accident the next day. So it is one of those where I always think of him when I listen to it. And because some of it's quite melancholic. Everybody Hurts, Night Swimming, Drive. It sort of resonates. It sort of resonated with a lot of people. I think this is their biggest selling album. This was their commercial peak. And when they started doing Monsters, started going back on the road, that's when it started to go downhill. And I think then REM made the best decision. They split without really tarnishing their image. Whether they get back together, I don't know. I've seen Bill Berry's appeared in on stage a couple of times, and it primarily finished really when he left to become a farmer. But we'll see what happens. Away from the HMV, I picked this up in the charity shop. And this is John Anderson, Songs of Seven. I was listening to this last night, and it's standard fare. It's not that great an album. A lot of poppy songs, some jazz influence. Johnny Dankworth appears on here, but you've got the prog epic, which is the title track. It's okay. Whether it stays in the collection, I don't know, but it's well worth seeking out. Talking of Yes and John Anderson related items, I found a 12-inch of Going for the One. This was it might have been the follow-up single to Wondrous Stories, but it's just the fact that it's a 12-inch of Yes, and again, I found it in this charity shop, so happy to pick that up. And likewise, sort of the lesser-known John and Vangelis album. This is a Private Collection, which came out in 1983. I've yet to listen to this, so I can't really form an opinion. If it's anything like the other two albums, I'll be more than happy. But yeah, now changing the mood a little. Rose Tattoo, Assault and Battery, released in 1981 on the Career label. It's an Albert production. Rose Tattoo, sort of like the angrier version of AC/DC. Australia, hotbed for rock music at that time. And if you are on YouTube, I caught again on YouTube the story of Albert Productions. It's quite amazing the impact they had on Australian music. You've got Easy Beats, and then you've got AC/DC, of course, and then you've got Rose Tattoo, other bands, Cheetah, and then sort of pop like is it John Paul Young? Love Is in the Air. Yeah, they did try and break the UK, did a lot of tours. This album sold modestly when it came out. Probably the singer Angie Anderson's best known for the songs Suddenly, which was featured in Neighbours, an Australian soap opera, went at the wedding of two of the lead characters. But I'll prefer this then to that. Back to the HMV. An album I've been waiting for a long time to get on vinyl, and just had to put myself off it. Air, Moon Safari. This is wondrous record. Came out in 1998 originally. Carries on that tradition of French techno, pop, stroke rock, but this has got a raw edge to it. And you've got Sexy Boy, Kelly Watch the Stars, which was singles of it, La Femme d'Argent. It's just a smooth sounding record with that little bit of roughness of the guitars in there. I actually really enjoy it. Really enjoy it. I want to get some more vinyl reissues into my collection. Talking about rough guitars, I picked up Metallica's Ride the Lightning, their second album, which came out in 1984. Some would say the ultimate thrash album. I would think that as well, because to me it spawned the other bands as well, like Slayer, like Anthrax. Megadeth obviously came on the back with Dave Mustaine being part of Metallica at the start. He does get a credit on one of the songs on here. And what makes this record so great is some of the songs. Ride the Lightning title track, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fade to Black, which closes side one. I think you have to be careful what mood you are to listen to that, because it is quite a downbeat song. It's the narrator just comes across as is at the end of his tether. That's it. It's the end of everything. Favourite track on here is Creeping Death. When it's been on the iPod or wherever, it's always been a track I've always moved to. So I'm happy with that. And I'm happy to find that. I've never had a copy of Ride the Lightning. Then moves on to Master of Puppets, the third album, released in 1986. I originally had the Music for Nations CD, but somehow it got lost. Battery, to me, is an ultimate thrash song. It pile drives into you. Master of Puppets as well. Welcome Home Sanitarium. Disposable Heroes as well. This is just classic. This is a really good metal album. Some will say this is up there as one of the best metal albums ever. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I like it. It's obviously staying in the collection. As I said, released in 1986. Sadly, this was the last album to feature Cliff Burton, who died on tour, New European tour. This shook the band up quite a bit. But it's fascinating to read sort of what was going on at that time. Lars Ulrich's drumming ability might have been questioned, but he worked at it. He had lessons in between the debut album and Ride the Lightning, and carried on having lessons to sharpen up his skills, to make the band better. These are definitely great albums, these two albums. Changing it all over again. This is Dave Clark 5, Glad All Over, the debut album. This was a record store edition on white vinyl. So you've got really their best known singles. You could say, especially in the UK, this is probably the only album you need. Glad All Over opens it up, so one for the Crystal Palace fans. You got Bits and Pieces, which was another hit of those. You do their version of Do You Love Me, which Brian Poole and the Tremolos had a big hit with as well. Dave Clark, clever man, did the production, owned the rights to the songs, looked after his bandmates, I believe, as well. It's a good 60s pop album. And the final album I'm going to show you in this video is the Cure Free Imaginary Boys, released on Friction Records. I think this came out. This is a 2016 reissue, and it's a great early Cure, which is difficult to come by. I've got this reissue. The originals are expensive. I like the Cure, but I need to get more of their records into the collection. There you go, VC. I hope you like what you see. If you do, thumbs up, thumbs down. I like the interaction. Feel free to leave a comment, and if you're so way inclined, subscribe. So, as I said, it's Wednesday night. I'll get this edited. I'm trying to my best with the editing. Some of it's a bit ropey. I'll try that tomorrow and hopefully get it published a bit later in the week. So, whatever you do, VC, whatever you get up to, enjoy yourselves, keep spinning. More importantly, keep on smiling.